level 2 with our Wacky Noodle, with our focus on the feet. So we maintain that focus. We know why we want to keep that focus on the feet. I talked about that all in Elementally Movement 101. I'm 101, we got it. All right, so focus on those feet, focus on your breath, focus on your implement. Now that we're at level 2, we can start with our level O. We got both of our hands on our implement, get some stretching in, get some self-massaging in, squeeze, get a little bit of upper body workout with our arms as we're squeezing ourselves, which is really nice, right? Our feet are planted so that we're getting a really great sense of what's a great stance that supports our bodies, our unique bodies and vessels. And now we can expand into our spheres. So it's fun with our noodle. We can expand into our spheres with it in the center, or we can grip it at the end. And bam, what do we have? We have an implement that emulates the movements of poi, except it's not a wick on chains. It's just one big soft noodle. So if it hits you, it doesn't hurt. Because I tell you what, wicks on chains, even if they're not lit, are painful. This is a very kind implement. It helps us very much visually see the planes that we're moving through, the planes that we're moving around, and get a feel, because the noodle really slows us down for those motions. Because the wicks and chains are heavy, they spin very quickly. And by the nature of the spinning quickly, it makes it harder to get a grasp of what we're doing physically. But the noodle, being so full of air bubbles, is resistant. More so than, let's say, wood wand. Wood wand can move very quickly, and wood wand can be very painful. Wood wand is a painful teacher. I recommend waiting until you've done some wacky noodle work before you attempt to do it with the wood wand, because it hurts when we hit ourselves, but that's also how we learn. So I say we start with our noodle, which is very kind. And we can do something like contact work with our noodle. So that's doing more level low and level 1. We're keeping in contact with our bodies, but we're also exploring different ways to move. Alternate between middle grip, which is very much like a fire staff, or a bow from martial arts. Check in with foot position, explore for a while, shift again, explore space, move quickly, move slowly. What's beautiful about this noodle, I love it that the faster you move, the more resistance you get. It's the opposite of when you work with the wood wand. The faster you go, the more force you put into the wood wand, the faster it goes, and the more likely it's going to hit you hard and it's going to hurt. The wacky noodle is totally opposite. The more slowly we move, the less resistance we experience, because it's filled with air. So when we're moving it slowly through the air, there is less air resistance from the air. But when we move it quickly through the air, we have a lot of resistance, because air resists air in some crazy way that I haven't quite figured out how to explain yet, but it's something about equalization and pressure. And I'll probably look it up and see why air resists air so well. But I do believe that it has to do with equalization and pressure, which is why we can't feel air most of the time, the pressure of air pressure, because we have an equalization pressure system within our bodies. We're walking pressure gauges, and because we're walking pressure gauges, we don't feel the pressure of the air unless the barometric pressure changes, which is why we can kind of notice when it's stuffy and hot. The pressure is high, you can actually feel the air pressing against you. When the pressure is low, the absence of the pressure feels strange on the body as well. So, but then our bodies acclimate, usually with enough time, because that's what our bodies are designed to do, is adapt and acclimate to our environments. We can assist our bodies with this acclimatization process by not resisting. The more that we resist the need to adapt to our environments, the more resistance we're going to experience within our bodies, which means we're going to have more tension, more dissatisfaction, more discomfort, more failed expectations, as the world is not going to be the way that we want it to be. So therefore, we are creating unnecessary stress for ourselves through our opinions. And we can just toss all of that processing and bandwidth wasting out the window by just deciding that we want to appreciate what's going on and learn what's going on and adapt to the current situation and take life as a game instead of feeling like life is happening to you. Recognize that this is a game that you have chosen to play. Maybe you didn't choose initially, but you have now chosen to play the game. And of this moment that you have chosen to play the game, you have decided to play the life game. And the goal, our goal, is observe, adapt, learn. So the more that we practice adaptation, the more that we challenge ourselves to force ourselves to adapt through kind chosen practices, the easier it becomes to adapt when we need to in situations that are not of our choosing, which is what's going to happen with life. That's just part of the process. Accept that as one of the ways that that's just the game, right? Would anyone play video games if they knew exactly what was going to happen all the time? It'd be boring. You play the game once, you don't do it again. It's the exact same thing with life. We have no idea what's going to happen. So we need to be adaptable. We have to be ninjas, life skill ninjas. And that's what this is effing all about. Elementally functional family fitness. It's teaching you how to be a life ninja, a kindness ninja, an appreciation ninja. I own my body and I can move through space the way that I want to ninja, when I need to, as needed. Because I can. Yeah. Level 2. Feet. Being grounded. Level 3 coming soon. In just a few days, babies, we're moving these spheres around. Let's be clowns. Let's be clowns for love. Because we can. Maybe just for a few minutes a day. Just try it. It's a good practice to foster within yourself. To be a clown for love and a clown for kindness.